Hi, my name is Randall Shelden. I've been a professor and a researcher at University of Nevada, Las Vegas for more than 30 years. And I've researched a lot of subjects, delinquency, gangs, juvenile justice, prisons, the connection between schools and or school dropouts and delinquency, and written a lot about corporate crime, although I haven't published any books per se on the subject. And my latest commentaries, I have blogs on CJCJ website, has to do with the issue of corporate crime, but more specifically, I've been updating a book on youth gangs in the 4th edition right now. And I came across, it just occurred to me when looking at the standard definitions of gangs provided by the National Youth Gang Center, and I'll bring it up right here, I have it in front of me. These are the common definitions: a group with 3 or more members, generally aged 12 to 24. Members share an identity, typically linked to a name and often other symbols. Members view themselves as a gang and they are recognized by others as a gang. The group has some permanence and a degree of organization, and the group is involved in an elevated level of criminal activity. Well, several of those would apply to Wall Street and corporate America in general. And one of the things, by the way, that I point out, I think I do it in part 2, is that while the protesters are occupying Wall Street or occupying Oakland, San Francisco, wherever, they are literally getting arrested for petty crimes, mostly petty crimes such as disturbing the peace, which is kind of ironic because that's what they're there to do, to disturb the peace. Well, right above them, literally in some cases, right above them, a couple dozen floors in some of these buildings, especially on Wall Street, there's rampant criminality. I mean, it's been going on for years. There's been all sorts of studies covering a span of 50 or 60 years, going all the way back to Edwin Sutherland and his famous study of white-collar crime, which was really misnamed because it was actually a study of some of the largest American corporations. And he found that literally all of them were involved in mostly fraud, stock market manipulations, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, stock market manipulations, insider trading, whatever you want to call it, dates back all the way to the crash of 1929. There was a lot of involvement in that back then. But anyway, getting back to these definitions, you know, there's obviously 3 or more individuals, although the ages are older, and they have a common identity as financiers, brokers, hedge fund operators, bankers, and so on and so forth. And of course, the name Wall Street is a common denominator. While they may not view themselves as a gang, they do have some, as we say, permanence and degree of organization. And they're consistently involved in a high rate of criminality. A few years ago, I estimated that the combination of white-collar and corporate crime came to at least $1.5 trillion per year in terms of the cost to the public, in addition to perhaps 100,000 lives lost during any given year. So that's a lot of people that have died, and that's a lot of people that are just ripping people off. And I don't think I have to describe to anybody the extent to which this fraud has occurred. All we have to do is look at the documentary called Inside Job to get a glimpse inside the machinations of these corporate thugs, is what it amounts to. And there's very little accountability on the part of them. The FBI currently is undergoing an investigation, and there's a financial crimes report on the FBI website, which you can have a link to under my blog, part 1 of the blog. But anyway, the amount of money, these are just financial crimes. The cases that you're investigating went from 423 in fiscal year 2005 to 692 in fiscal year 2009. And just among those relatively small number of cases, less than 700, came to an estimated $1 billion or more. And there's a falsification of financial information, self-dealing by corporate insiders, and so on and so forth. In short, there's a lot of criminality that makes street gangs look like mom and pop stores by comparison, or whatever analogy you want to come up with. So that's one of the things that I'm working on here, and I hope you will get on that, the CJCJ website, the blogs, and read some of those.